How's all doing? I'm here as promised. I'm just waiting to everyone kicks in a wee bit, then I'll introduce Peter. As I say, tonight's episode is all about addiction and how it affects people and stuff like that. So in about 10 seconds, I'll get Peter in to explain his side of addictions. I'll explain my side of addictions. And as I say, we'll keep going with that. So tonight, as I say, life is about addiction. So we'll just wait for Peter to kick in a minute. Peter's been doing a lot of work, help me out. So just to get a wee bit of get him here. I don't know what's happening. Let's bear with me, folks, and we'll get him in. How's you like my wee studio? What's got flag by me? Sorry, this side. We'll go my wee sign next to me. We've got a new camera set up here. So we're kind of looking all right. Hi Richie, how you doing, pal? I'm doing no bad myself. I'm just waiting for Peter to kick in. So I'm just talking to you now, see how you are. How you been keeping me the last couple of days? You doing fine? What about all your come back out of lockdown? How you been keeping coping with that? Addictions and stuff like that. How you been coping with that kind of stuff? Bear with me, boy. Bear with me, guys. Sorry, get it. Can you hear me, Peter? You there? Peter? Alright, you can hear me, Peter can hear me. You just sent me a message. That's good. So was you there, Peter? Sex addiction, Richie? Oh, pal. No, I'm afraid not. And I'm afraid not. But if you have, give me a shout in. I'm just wondering what's going on here. We can't get Peter in for some reason. We'll get Peter in. What's going on here? Hi, Susan. Hi, Jimmy. Bear with us. Something going on here. We can't get Peter in. No. Anyway, so how's all keeping anyway? We'll get Peter in at some point. I maybe need to send him a link to the page. But he should just come up straight away. So I don't know what's happened there. I don't know what's happened there at all. Maybe he's not come in, but we'll get him in. What's it? Lockdown was a piece of piss. There's an addiction. There's no problems. Well, it's good to think that. Oh, right, here's Peter coming in. Right, here's somebody decent to talk to now. Right, thanks a lot.
Aye.
No. How you doing, Peter?
Hi, Darren. How are you? 2 minutes, mate. I'll just turn TV down.
No bother, son. Just glad you're there. Oh, I'm going there. Well, you're all fucking FBI mob there. How you keep anyway? You alright, bro?
I'm all right, mate. Yeah, I just had a really busy day.
I've been busy myself, been out and about. I've got my new studio here. As you can see, I've got the clipboard behind me. Carson TV with Dan, featured Peter Speak. That's on the notice board there. I've got the Scotland flag, sorry. So I'm just trying to kind of position it and see how I can go. But what I say. Anyway, glad to have you on anyway, Peter.
I can see it over your shoulder.
So what, you've been busy today then?
Yeah, really busy. It's end of month, so just been paying all bills for the group really, and doing a bit of banking, trying to sort my website out. So just been busy all day, checking in with a few people.
Right.
So on really.
Right, well tonight's subject was all about addiction, wasn't it?
It was, yes. What
So,
we agreed on.
what you want to kick off with, Peter? Can my viewers hear me okay?
You what, mate?
I'm just asking my viewers if they can hear us okay. But you should hear us fine. Anyway, so where do you want to kick off tonight, Peter?
I don't know.
When did you start your first addiction? And when?
I remember the first time I tried to buy some cannabis resin.
Yeah.
And we got ripped off.
Right.
We got into a little amusement arcade and been told to look for these two lads. And anyway, eventually found these two lads. Anyway, they went into a pub, went in front door and come out back door, and we were still stood waiting, like a pair of wallies. How old was that? God. I would have said 12, 13.
Young
12.
As young as that?
12, probably.
Right. Well, myself, I started off with drugs myself at an early age. Let's say, well, a wee bit younger than that, about 11. I started smoking cannabis and drinking buckfast. But I used to play a lot of football when I was younger. So I thought I was kind of Jack the lad, you know what I mean? Because where I'm from, Bonnybridge is just a wee kind of quiet place, you know what I mean? As I say, I kind of played with certain football teams and that, so I thought it was kind of Jack the lad. Drink your half bottles of buckfast, take your cannabis, and it led to the Valium. When by the time I was kind of 12, 13, then that's when everything kind of went mental. Me and my brothers went out, started committing the fucking crimes and all that kind of shit, then just from then on, it was just kind of mainly cocaine, amphetamine, drink, and cannabis and jazzy plant right until we were about maybe, I would say, I was about 20, 24 when I first tried heroin, and that was when that happened with me and my brother. That's when I kind of got into the heavier class A side of it. But in my teenage years, it was mainly like alcohol and, as I say, like uppers, you know what I mean? Because I was just out of control. I was just ADHD or not. I just wanted to go and do what I needed to do, you know what I mean? And cannabis, I started breaking into cars, stealing car radios, stuff like that when I was about 11, 12, got to panels every month, you know what I mean? Breaking into cars, cannabis basically, you know what I mean? So that was my kind of first experience with drugs. You know what I mean? That
I'd already been caught shoplifting before, you know, at 11. So round, like I said, them 2 years after my mum left and before I went back to live with my mum, I'd been caught shoplifting, tried my first drug. I'd been on the alcohol, didn't like the alcohol. That just made me sick because I was doing it straight out with decanter. And I was smoking by then. So I was sort of really already on that downward sort of spiral, I suppose. You know, got him at the same as you were saying, got him at wrong crowd a little bit. And I don't remember trying much else till I moved back in with my mum.
Yeah.
And then once I moved back in with my mum, I got some mate. Not a bad lad, to be fair. I can't say that it led me astray in any way. We didn't get into loads of trouble or all like that. He lived with his grand, so he didn't live with his natural mum. So he went into drugs as well. And he was slightly younger than me. Not a lot, only a year, I think. But so we sort of started doing a bit of acid. We started doing trips at 13. You know, you could get acid regular around at that area where everyone was doing it.
Was that the wee kind of smiley faces?
Microdots, smiley faces, Batman, Superman, strawberries. Everybody remember super strawberries.
I'll tell you a story about that, Peter. Me and my older brother Paul, it must have been about 13, 14 ourselves, eh? And can you ever remember an alcohol beverage called King's Heat?
Maybe.
Wine, it was just a Buckfast, but it was cheaper way back in the 90s, eh? And me and my brother had took a couple of acids, eh? And we were there in the field, and we were fucking drinking the King's Heat and tried a couple of acid, and it was like London. Do you remember the big red London buses?
Yeah.
It was like they were coming across the field and trying to fucking run us there. That was you know what I mean? And it was like we were jumping and dragging each other out of fucking like, oh, it's crazy, man. Eh? That's the first time and the only fucking time I ever took him, man. No, never again, man. They're bonkers, that shit. And,
well, I remember being in this lad's house. He was older than me, and I'd gone to the toilet, and there must have been a bit of toilet paper in the toilet, and I thought it was a fucking duck. So I'd gone back to the room and said to him, "There's a duck in the toilet. There's a duck in the toilet." He said, "There isn't. It's you." You know. He said, "Come on, I'll show you." They were fucking howling. You know what I mean? I'm adamant there's a fucking duck in the toilet. You know what I mean?
See, we can laugh about this now because we've done that, and experienced that. You know what I mean? But that's how we're here now to explain to the youth and see the public really. You know what I mean? That to watch out for, and the signs for your kids to be taking like drugs, and put a stop to it. You know what I mean? As early as possible before it does get out of control. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because there in Falkirk, it's been 3 deaths in the last week, and that's been under the age of 18. You know what I mean? So, and it's quite sad. You know what I mean? This is growing in this day and age. You know what I mean? And that's just in Falkirk. You know what I mean? That's in a week. You know what I'm talking about? A 13-year-old, 18-year-old, and I can't remember the age of the other young person, but it was sad. It was sad, like, I don't know what to say, but it was just terrible.
I think.
Yeah.
I think we're in a world that's. It's hard for the kids, and I think if they don't get into something at the right age and the right time, it's a very, very, very risky road, isn't it? I just hope that. My worry is that for me, it'll come across as being a little bit controversial. I don't want it to come across too controversial because I am saying I aren't saying it in a nasty way, but so many people who take drugs have got so many underlying problems. And I
Well,
think
I
we
like
put a lot.
wait,
We put that.
I might clarify that, because the boy I was talking about there at 13, that wasn't due to addiction of that. You know what I mean? That was due to I don't know what. You know what I mean? But you know what I mean? I just want to clarify that up, eh?
Yeah,
But
right.
you know what I mean? But what? Sorry, when you go,
I mean, but this is me more personally to me.
yeah,
You know, like a lot of people who use drugs have a lot more underlying problems, and I think they put a lot of emphasis on the drug addiction and not on helping them with the underlying problem,
yeah,
which is why so many people relapse. It's not
mm,
necessarily the drug, it's just getting away from the pain.
definitely numbing your brain.
Yeah. So I think that's why so many people relapse and go backwards. So, and for me personally, I've quite openly said in many different aspects of life, if something works, stick with it. If something doesn't work, you can change it. There's only you can change that, and that's
Well,
down to yourself to do it. You
mm,
smoke, you get cancer, or you don't want to get poorly, stop smoking.
well,
There's
there's
only
no
you
point.
can do. The point I'm making is that I didn't like alcohol, but the way I was, if I'd been hit like out in a pub and I'd been filled with alcohol, I'd probably done a lot more prison than I have done, Darren. So
Yeah,
because cannabis and drugs, street drugs, worked and kept me on a level,
yeah,
I've only been to prison once, which fair enough was for drugs. So the downside for me personally is that I ended up dealing and then getting caught and going to prison. So you know, there's a downside to it, but generally it's kept me away from alcohol.
yeah, yeah. Because as I
So,
say,
and that's worked for me. So I've stuck with it.
yeah.
That makes sense.
Well, as I say, there's no point in fixing some, but isn't it broken? You know what I mean? Like as I say, come back to my younger years, um, there was a time I couldn't get out the door without drinking a bottle of buckfast before even getting out of my bed. And that was when I was like 15. You know what I mean? And 16 and 17, 18, right up till I was 18, sorry. Then I had my daughter. And as I say, I got to jail on residential school when I was just turning 16, and I moved into my property with my ex-partner, and I was an alcoholic. And as I say, I was smoking hash, taking Valium, Ecky, you name it, that, eh? And 2 years later, 3 years later, sorry, I had my daughter, you know what I mean? And that's when I was like, no, what, I'm not doing this because I need to get off of this. I've got my wee daughter, you know what I mean? And I rattled the drink and all that with me, and I've never drank since, you know what I mean? But then, as I say, the drink is just as worse to come off of than anything else, to be honest. You know what I mean? It's just another addiction, to be honest. Eh? But the downside of the alcohol is it hinders your your liver, sorry, and people get a lot of aggression and, as you say, numbness and stuff like that through alcohol. It blocks a lot of pain and hurt and anger out. You know what I mean? Then next thing you know, they're lying in the street or something like that, eh? And it's not through any fault of their own. It's just the fact is that they've came down and just hit rock bottom due to alcohol. You know what I mean? So when you look at that side of it, I'm glad that I managed to come off alcohol when I did. You know what I mean? And I had the help from my family back then at the time to come off with alcohol and walk into a job kind of thing. Eh? So that kind of kept me going that way. But others that's no got that, I can just imagine, you know what I mean? What it'd be like for them to kind of come off with alcohol. Eh? And, you know what I'm
I
talking
see that. My ex-partner's family drink a lot of alcohol, so I've seen that, even though I haven't drunk a lot since I was 11. My ex-partner's family drank a lot, so I think I had lots of experiences with it, even if I haven't actually been, I'd seen it from the other side because I've been able to sit and watch.
Yeah.
Back and watch it a little bit. Horrible. Alcohol, I would say alcohol's really worse than drugs in a lot of senses because it's so easy accessible. It's something you can do in a pub.
No,
it's something we all do social, but it's supposed to be sociable. And it's accepted across society, so it's just done. That's just the way it's going to be, and it's going to stay like that, in my opinion. Back to the drugs, I'd very soon after doing the acid and the trips already tried heroin, so I tried heroin a lot earlier than you had. No offense.
No.
My mum got taken poorly with cancer when I was doing my GCSEs, but I'd already tried heroin before she was taken poorly. So I would have been 15. And I tried it with the same girl twice. Didn't like it. Never tried it again. And then I don't remember doing E's for years. Properly, I might have had one here or there, but E's when I was younger were quite expensive.
Right.
Acid was the sort of the cheap drug to get, so that's what we did. Yeah, I don't remember trying E's or pills till I was a lot older.
What kind of film did you get after that? See the Eckies and
You what, sorry?
See when you started trying like ecstasy and stuff like that. What kind of feeling did you get for that? Did that walk out mere?
I think I was just I think at that point I was just in a bit of a mess. Like you said, what's going on. A lot had happened. Mum poorly. But I never really had a chance to catch my feet, so it was just everything just moves on. Life goes on around no matter what storm you're in. You know what I mean? It carries on.
Yeah. Yep.
The clock's still ticking, isn't it?
Aye. Yeah, as I say, for me, like when I go back to like my heroin days, it was basically what happened was my dad. There was a big family, still running now, and it was a family company that my dad, and as I say, the way we got involved with the heroin is we used to kind of sell a lot of drugs ourselves, and we vowed we'd never touch it and all that kind of stuff, and that we'd sell it, so we did, and it came to that time in prison when that happened to my brother and my partner, that's when I first tried it. You know what I mean? So I managed to make the money off it all the way up, and another stay kind of stay away from it until that happened. Then I got out, free with my jail term, and the feeling I got when I was in prison, when I tried the heroin, it blocked away everything. You know what I mean? It was like for months there was thoughts going about my head about my brother, my partner that they were dead. You know what I mean? All the mad sexual, all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Then as I say, my mother brother came in. He handed his cell into Barnley, sorted me out, done me proud. You know what I'm talking about? So I managed to get the heeding them for a few months and that until I got out to do it. But it was the worst fucking move ever, to be honest with you, Peter, because once I got out, I had the taste for it. You know what I mean? Because it was blocking all the time. It was blocking that trigger off away all the time. It was calming me down. You know what I mean? So I started taking it on a regular basis. Then when my dad and my uncles put out that I was doing it, they were like, right, damn, no. You know what I mean? Times you're not doing it anymore. I want you to stop working the windy run and just stay back because you've got a habit going to get yourself help, son. and come back to us. So I went away and done that, and I've just been kind of neglected parent. So taking it back to the time I got done for the Windies was when was because I defied my dad and my family. I was like, no, I was me and my brothers on the streets in Falkirk for years. I was we never had any schooling or fuck all. And I was for the simple fact that we were canvassing for doors and whatever. I was, and you're just going to sit there and try to take my window run off me, my fucking wheel bin run. You know what I'm talking about? I was like, no way, because me, my other two brothers, they all had one each. You know what I'm talking about? Then my dad had these steam vans and the fucking sunbed, iron sunbed and all that kind of stuff like that. And we were like, no, you know what I mean? Because that was time for my drug habit. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
as soon as they took that away, I was like, no, what you can't. I'm just going to continue doing what the Windies say. And I did. Fine. But as I say, he ended up putting the force on me and I go to jail. But I did talk to him. I did talk to him, sorry. But I hate him for the fact that he put the force on me. But at the same time, he done me a favour. You know what I mean?
2 minutes then.
They both, well, as I say, people, it was bad at the time. It was what you had to do back then for your drugs was terrible. I was quite lucky enough that as I say, I had my family to support me through the drug habit and stuff like that. So
Sorry, man.
I was just saying there about the drugs there. I was kind of defiant and saying to my dad and my uncles and that, no, you know what I mean? We kind of, I'm no doing this, no, I'm fucking. But as I say, go to the jail. Then I got out, and then that happened, and blah blah blah. But the way it took me, what, God knows, 2004, right up until 2009, to get one of the methadone prescription, But see, just that life, just for that short period of time, that was hell. You know what I mean? What I'd seen, you know what I mean? Because I was used to being on the other fence. Because I was used to be the one that sell it. You know what I mean? I never ever used to kind of must go looking for it. You know what I mean? Or try and scrape another tenner up or anything like that. You know what I mean? But as I say, two things. As I say, but it was just horrible. You know what I mean? It was fucking horrible. And I take my hat off to anybody that can go out there, because a heroin habit is just like a full-time job. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
It's like a full-time fucking job. 8 o'clock in the morning to 10 o'clock at night, you are out on the graft. You know what I mean? Or whatever you need to do to get that. And it was hell. You know what I mean? And I couldn't handle it because I just didn't want it with me. So I can't get myself to jail. You know what I mean? Every couple of weeks. So every 6 weeks I kind of got a habit for a couple of months. Then I was back in, and so you know what I mean. So it wasn't really a habit. You know what I mean? If you look at it that way, you know what I mean. But it's still a habit. You know what I mean? But what I seen and what I felt, it's fucking hell. You know what I mean? And I used to watch other people coming in worse than me, obviously, and their addictions were crazy, man. And their addictions were real. People think like Glasgow, Edinburgh. The worst place I've ever seen was Dundee. People coming in from Dundee with a habit. Oh my God, you know what I mean? It was terrible. It was terrible.
Well, prisons again in relation to addiction. I mean, addiction out here is one thing. Addiction in prison's probably something completely different. Again, from bits I've seen, there's a good question just been put on there, Darren. I just read. Somebody's just asked if me and you think it's okay to sort of downgrade from a hard drug to a softer drug.
All right, aye. That was I've seen that there. That was well, aye. I've seen that. Sorry, on you go, Peter. Another question there.
My answer to that is yes, obviously. Surely to God, anybody in the right mind would want somebody to be taking Calpol instead of heroin. If you get what I'm trying to say. Obviously, that's a bit of a stupid comparison, but you get what I'm trying to say. Yes. Because, like I said, I think that we put too much pressure on the addiction if there's other problems. You know, people will relapse anyway. So yeah, if you can get them down a drug, it's managing to support it. I think that's more the problem, isn't it?
Aye,
you know, if you did a lot of heroin, it's likely that you're going to need quite a big amount of cannabis to sort of replace that or help you sleep. So it's a financial aspect probably rather than an addiction habit as well. I don't think I've ever been addicted to any of it because I've managed to put it down. I do like a smoke. I ain't going to sit here and lie. I've never said that. I don't, and I would never say that openly to anybody. I'm not a professional. I don't tend to be one.
Each to their own, Each to their own.
Mine's all life experience. And like I've said, I don't get any tablets from the doctor. I'm not an antidepressant. I don't drink a lot of alcohol. So if that keeps me in a mental state that I'm happy with and I can deal with, then after what I've been through, I have to say I'm happy with where I'm at.
Well, so what I've heard is what you've been through, Peter. I'm actually fucking surprised that you're no on a lot more than you are, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? So no people that's been through less that is on a lot more, taking the piss, you know what I'm talking about? As I say, like yourself, is you've got to take your hat off to yourself and give yourself a pat on the back for that, Peter, because you've dealt with it well. And as I say, so proud of you for that, And as I say, keep your chin up with that, man, because at the end of the day, you managed to walk out at a better side. You know what I mean?
Do you know it's funny, Darren, because I actually went to Andy's Man Club on Monday night. I came out on Monday night and I read a little meme online, and it just said, the best thing you do in life may not be what you do, it may be who you bring up.
Yeah.
And the reality is that I brought myself up. I made the mistakes when I was very young, and after that brought myself up. And we know medication, we know mum.
Yeah.
Not being that close to my dad, you know what I mean? I've managed a lot of my different to you, like you had your brothers around a lot, and a big family, and you did a lot together. You got in trouble together. You were in homes together. You were in prison together. Do you get what I mean? You've come across each other time and time. Mine's dead opposite. I spent a lot of time on my own, you know, and just had to sort of muddle through.
Yeah. Well, as I say, my brother, sorry. I was only one that was putting a hole. I mean, my other two brothers weren't. I mean, Paul and Barry, they avoided the hole for some reason. I don't know why. But Paul and me were like, we screw like Gary's doors off, sorry, just to steal the car. You know what I mean? That was us. You know what I mean? We steal tractors, we steal plant equipment. You know what I'm talking about? At 12, 13 year old. You know what I mean? I'd fucking psychology.
Oh, you get your fucking hands on, mate. I know, you know.
And
too right, I know, mate. I was there behind you.
And as I say, it was mental, you know what I mean? But I used to take the blame from my brother, because he's the middle, Paul's the middle one. I'm the youngest, you know, and I've got the oldest one, Barry, right? So I used to take the blame for my middle brother, because they two went to school and they stuck in at school. So when we used to commit crime and all that,
Yeah.
I'd always take the blame. You know what I mean? Because my Paul, I was really close to my brother Paul. You know what I mean?
So what do you think about the question of what do you think about the coming down from soft, to a softer drug from a harder drug? Would you agree with that? Would you agree with my point of view, or do you see that differently, Darren?
No, no, I agree with you on that. I agree with you on that one, Peter. No, it's whatever works for that individual itself. I'd go with that way. You know what I mean? But I 100% mind you that because
Yeah.
I think it'd make it a lot easier. You know what I mean?
I think the other thing is from my point. I think the other thing is from my point of view to make that question more more realistic is I don't really see anybody overdosing off cannabis,
Nah,
for example.
aye,
Whereas there's a lot of people can overdose on heroin or there's bad patches that contains whatever shite that they want to put in it,
well,
etc., etc., etc. So that to me, the question is a no-brainer in that sense. From that sense, that point of view.
I've got a couple of things here. There was just on 2019 in Scotland, there was 1,264 deaths recognised in 2019 due to drugs in Scotland, and in 2020 there was 95.3 million invested in 2020 to tackle drug and alcohol addiction. No, in 2020, so you've got quite a lot here. You know what I mean? And then there was £900,000 to fund a new programme to improve drug and alcohol among the homeless population. And that was, and you've got the benzodiazepine, sorry. In 2019, there was another work to tackle rising drug deaths in Scotland, and including a new subgroup to look at detail the issue of benzodiazepine, because up here there were a lot of deaths with diazepam. And last year in Scotland, Dundee and Glasgow and Falkirk alone, there was a lot of deaths with fake diazepam. But that was just some of the statistics here, and that's only been for 2019. So to say with marijuana, well, I'd rather sit with somebody that smoke marijuana and I'd sit with somebody that smoke heroin. You know what I mean? Cause
yeah, me too.
At least I know that this person with marijuana isn't going to rob me. You know what I mean? Or they're not going to. How can you put it? How can you put it without being kind of like disrespectful to users?
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. I understand what you're saying.
You know what I mean? Because I've been a user there, and I've been mistrusted myself. You know what I mean? And so that's a good question you've asked there. Well, it is a hard one to answer, but if anybody else can answer it, please feel free to comment on the comment section and answer, or how you feel about Will's question. But it's a good question, Will. Thanks. We'll move on to that. But so, anything else you'd like to touch up with the subject of addiction? Like, what? Like you said you moved. You said you kind of like your drug dealing kind of days and like stuff with the cannabis kind of stuff like that. Yeah? Was it a large scale of that?
Yeah, quite large. Yeah.
So you had enough to fund your own habit then?
Yeah, it was. But again, it wasn't. It wasn't. For me, I suppose it wasn't so much an addiction. It was more financial rather
Right.
than the drug addiction.
Yeah.
I tried to kick it, and the ex-wife didn't want to at the time.
Yeah.
Which was what put us in the shit, really, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so again, I have again seen addiction. I have seen how horrible it is. You know, financially, on the family, resources on the police, the courts.
Yeah.
And you see that more and more, don't you? Somebody who's in shoplifting for the first time is likely to get, you know, a hefty fine, community service. Whereas if you want heroin or you've got an addiction or you're an alcoholic, you can maybe go on 5 or 6 times before you get anything.
Do you think addiction, what a lot of kind of like mental health, it comes right off the back of the addiction side of it?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, completely. I think there's so many issues there, depending on what age they are. Like you were saying about the big two guys, in Scotland, 130.
Yeah.
Home life, education.
Well, a lot does get worse in education wise, eh? But it
Bullying,
doesn't.
alcohol, drugs, girlfriends, all comes in at that age. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah. So as I say, like, has it only been like the alcohol, the heroin, and the cannabis that you're only kind of been addiction, Peter?
Yeah, I've taken a little bit of speed. I've taken crack cocaine, but again, I've never got hooked. I remember taking it with my mate, and he wanted. I can't remember how much I bought, but I bought a few hundred quid between us.
Yeah.
But I'd put a bit away. I could put some away now till next week, or week after that, or week after that, and it be sat there and it won't bother me at all.
Right.
Smoked his and then wanted to smoke my bit, but I put away, and I was like, "Oh, I put that away,"
Yeah.
and he couldn't understand that, or you know, couldn't get that concept at all. Whereas I've been able to do that, so quite like I said, quite lucky that I can take it or leave it. So even though I've done drugs, it's been a little bit of this and a little bit of it, a little bit of that across the board right through my life, you know, but never alcohol, always been drugs.
There's been my man in the house. How you doing, brother? How do you think about the addiction side? He's a good subscriber. Peter, he's a good boy, yeah. But well, my side of addiction, as I say, I've tried everything under the sun, to be honest with you. Right? I'm not going to lie about it. But I've not, as you say, I've never had addiction to crack cocaine. It's one thing I've never had. I've not even tried it, to be honest with you. But when I was in Glencoe, well, smoking heroin, stuff like that, then, as I was saying about the time in prison, about that time, but when I got out, it was every day, you know what I mean? It was every day I had to wake up, you got a burn, you know what I mean? And it was just, I think it was more fixated to the foil. I think that's more the addiction side of it, is the foil. I mean, some people say they get addicted to the foil, and like getting the foil made up and all this kind of stuff and that, eh? You know what I mean? So where does the point come when that reaches like, no, I'm the one this name, you know what I mean? How do you get that out your head, you know, on top of it? Because it was hard for me, you know what I mean? It was hard for me to, like, when I came after heroin in 2009 and I started my methadone script, well, I never used anything whilst I got the cannabis, right? When I started my script. And the thought going for like heroin was, I never even thought once, you know what I mean, to go and get in it because I was like, well, this doctor's gave me a chance, a methadone prescription, no top of it. So why should I go and take a piss with it, you know what I mean, and take all drugs on top of it, you know what I mean? So I was quite lucky that way, you know what I mean? I didn't. First, I just locked myself away and got myself away from other people, you know what I mean, for 2 years. And then I met Kirsty, and that's when I opened kind of car wash about a year later. Then stuff kind of progressed with it, eh? You know what I mean? and it was great, but it's like, how do your kind of drug work services work in your life for like getting a medical script or anything like that? You need to be a long time. I mean, I waited when I 10, well, when I was 7 years or whatever it was, to get it. You know what I mean? I was registered with drug services and that, but they're just up in Scotland, you know what I mean? You can wait up to a year, you know what I mean, before you can get put on a prescription, you know what I mean? So I was quite lucky, you know what I mean? At the time, I got done with the armed robbery in Stirling University, fucking the doctor in the police station said to me, "Are you know sick of this? And would you know be interested in getting a medical script, eh?" And I was like, "Well, I tried looking 2004 to get one. You know what I mean? I goes and you tell me to get back to me, and then I'll go back to me. I was just 2009. And he was like, he said, "Well, if you get bail," I was, "I'm not going to get fucking bail. I got him in for armed robbery yesterday last night." And he was like, "Right, no bother." But at the end of the week, at the end of the 7-day license, I've got a pay flip. You know what I mean? That was also pending further investigation. So I kind of when I watched that, and I got in a pay flip, and I went back into the doctor and said to him, "You know what I mean?" I was like, "Look, I'm listening. I'm looking at a fucking heavy stretch here. If I didn't get my life figure," and kept his promise and gave me a medical prescription, and I've never fucking looked back since. Right? You know what I mean? I've never looked back. I've never looked back. As I say, that doctor gave me that prescription that weekend. I was like, "I'm a fuck," right? And I've never. It's been great. It's been fantastic. I go to Spain every year. You know what I mean? I've got my wee boy at 6 now. He's got to 10 years now. And so, yeah, I mean, people say that addicts can't change. Believe me, I'm a fucking walking example. And trust me, you know what I mean? I'm a walking example. An addict change. And if you'd seen me way back in 2000, well, the early 2000s, then you'd have been like, no fucking way am I talking to the same guy. You know what I'm talking about? When my life just fell apart, you know what I mean? But before that, it was all hunky dory, there was everything, you know what I'm talking about? Then that happened, then everything in the fucking pan, you know. But the addiction side of it was hard to kind of come away from it, you know what I mean? Because every time I tried to come away from it, I was starting to get these thoughts again. You know what I mean? Then there'd be the fucking evil thought. You're wanting to be doing this and you're wanting to be doing that. You know what I mean? Then you've got your brain to think about. You know what I'm talking about? You've got really, really deep thoughts. And that's what I always say. We're an addiction. There's always mental health comes with it. You know what I mean? And I was just lucky that I went and seeked help when I got out and got that faith, the psychiatrist. There was a Dr. Baird, he's a leading psychiatrist in Scotland criminal courts, high courts. In 2004, he diagnosed me criminal. What was it? Oh, for fuck's sake, man! It was some mad thing. And I could have got 6 months in Carstairs, or I was getting 2 years in Berlin. Remember I told you about it? I was getting the depot jag, the jag nurse, and a mad tablet. And he turned and said to me, if he didn't keep me in, and give me the depot jag, I'd have probably life now. And because the thoughts that was going through my head at the time, the situation, he said, you were just a walking fucking time bomb, eh? He says, because your mood can go from 0 to 10 in seconds. You know what I mean? He says, because like the trauma you've been through, your face, like the children's homes right through to like maybe.
I've got a question for you then.
Yeah.
So do you still get your methadone script now?
Aye. As I say, Peter, I'm on 65 milligrams. I'm on, and as I say, but I've never handed a dirty sample in 13 years, and I've got paperwork there to prove it. I'm a strong believer in, if you get a methadone prescription, don't fuck it. You know, dog it. You're getting it for a reason. You know what I mean? If you're going to abuse it, then go and hand it back, because you're only stopping somebody else from getting a chance to move on. You know what I'm talking about? And
Yeah.
that's where I'm referring to when I go done with the armed robbery in Stirling University. And
Tell me this then.
Ah,
I've got another question for you then. So would your next move be to try and come off the methadone straight?
I'm coming off it now.
Are you?
I'm actually I've moved for CAD drug services in Falkirk to change, live, grow, and what that is a company cause. I've no reason to be on methadone. So like this, I've no handed a dirty sample in a certain year. You know what I mean? So now basically they're saying I'm addicted to methadone. You know what I mean? Because
Right.
I've no what relapse or nothing. So what I say to them as well, what to do is take me off 2 mil every month. You know what I mean? Until I'm off it. Because by 2024, I want to be staying in Spain in 2024. You know what I mean? But
So you made a plan. You've got a goal. You've made a plan. You've made an adjustment to try and
aye,
deal with that now.
yeah, because my
But
pal,
just is that because your head's in a better place and you're a bit happier with your home life and
well, aye, but my pal, he's staying in Lanzarote, Spain, and he's got a shop and a pub in Playa Blanca, and he's offered me to stay there because I go there twice a year to visit prisoners. You know what I mean? And just got and visit them, see how they're doing, kind of stuff like that. But I just didn't see anything for my way in Scotland. You know what I mean? Like Joe Prost, you know what I mean? There's no work, there's no, you know what I mean? So I'm not wanting to put my kid through that. You know what I'm talking about? When there's nothing there. You know what I mean? Where I can take them away or there. And people actually would be surprised how easy it is to move abroad. You know what I mean? It's no hard, you know what I mean? And you didn't need a lot. Because in Spain, methadone, you get 50 mils of methadone. In Spain, the UK introduced methadone to Spain in 2015. And if you've got to be staying in Spain for 2 years to be classed as a citizen or something like that. But you get to stay there for so long that you've got to go to the embassy to get your prescription moved to Britain, Spain. And as I say, the British embassy, sorry, and what they'll do is they'll contact the Spanish embassy and you'll get your medication that way. You know what I'm talking about? But it didn't give you any more than 50 mil. You know what I mean? And so that's how I want to come. I'm not on much, I'm only on 65, but as I say, I want to be doing to maybe 17 mil. You know what I mean? So I can just kind of go, right, fuck it, I'm away and just fucking sack it. You know what I mean? Because you're there, you've got the heat. You can buy diazepam to the chemist, and you know what I'm talking about. It's only $2.20 for 30 diazepam. You know what I'm talking about? So, you know what I mean? If you're that bad, then you can go and get a bit of diazepam, line sweater at the beach. At least you're a fucking methadone. And I'm only 39. I'd be 42 by the time I go there. You know what I mean? I've got enough. Got 20 years to live. You know what I'm talking about, Peter. So I'm thinking forward that way. You know what I mean? And that's just through my addiction side of it. But it keeps me going. You know what I mean? It keeps me going. And what I want to achieve. You know what I'm talking about? Plus, if I can get things going.
Small steps, mate, and you're making adjustments all the time. You seem to be kicking on a bit now. So
yeah. And as I say, if we can make a change here before I go, then that's even better. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, then maybe change my mind and maybe want me to stay here. You know what I'm talking about? And you know what I'm talking about? But I'm just taking one day at a time. I come up with different ideas all the time, but that's the way I cope with my addiction. And I just kind of take it out and take day by day and go for it. You know what I mean? I never thought to open fucking 2 car washes. I did, you know what I mean? And they're registered with company's house. You know what I mean? So, well, I'm not doing something good, but still had them. You know, I'm talking about being a heroin user and an ex-criminal to owning 2 car washes is better than fuck all. You know, I'm talking about, you know what I mean?
One rubs side inside, like it's like anything else, isn't it? You know, we've talked about mental health, but addiction runs side inside with suicide. It can run side inside with alcohol. It can run side by side with prison, with offenders. There's so many different aspects of mental health that addiction and drugs can run side by side with. There's so many people who relate in different ways. Like I said before, me and Darren's had very, very different lives, but a lot of the things we've come across are very similar, and that's quite bizarre, really. But yeah, it's been nice to talk to you again tonight, Darren. Thanks for having us on. I hope all your viewers have enjoyed it. And they'll see two very, very different sides to drugs and addiction. I would imagine. If anybody's got any comments or wants to ask me or Darren anything, please put them in the comments. Please subscribe and share. Thank you very much, Darren.
Well, Peter, we're having you on again. This is what, episode 3 with Peter Speak from Scarborough. Speak up Scarborough, and as I say, Gloves Up, Drugs Down. We'll be start the day lives on a Monday and a Friday. If that's okay with you, Peter. Then we spoke about that. I'll contact you later on about that. But if anybody's got anything to ask Peter myself, I'll put a link at the bottom of the description. You can contact Peter through his group in Scarborough. Tell the people doing Scarborough I'm asking for them, Peter. And as I say, I'll be doing shoplifting talks to them. And as I say to the rest in Scotland, gloves up, get the drugs down. And Peter, I'll speak to you very soon. Okay?
No. Take care. Thanks for having me. Bye, everyone.
Right.
See you later. See you, Darren.
Right, pal. Bye. And we'll see you all now, eh? Bye.